Hello and welcome to the EPAM stream, Shaping Your Career as Data and Analytics Engineer. I'm Alex Babko, Senior Project Manager at EPAM and the host of today's show. So today we're going to talk about data analytics. We will delve into this discipline to help our bespoke online audience to figure out if it's the perfect fit for your career. We will discuss with my colleagues here in the studio what it actually means to be a data analytics engineer and what these specialists are doing all day long, as well as we'll provide valuable resources and materials, links to the trainings, some recommendations to how to start this career. So for those who have just joined our stream, I want to remind that you are at EPAM stream, Shaping Your Career as Data and Analytics Engineer. And EPAM is a global provider of digital transformation engineering services with over 61,000 employees around the globe in over 50 countries. So for 20 years, EPAM has been expanding its educational initiatives and incentives across locations to help those who start their career in IT to find the perfect work, the perfect job, and to make the right actions right from the start, with over 2,000 mentors who help beginners to find the right way in the required discipline. So, and right now in our studio in Vilnius, we are having my two colleagues, two wonderful speakers, experts in data and analytics, who are ready to share their experience, their discipline knowledge with you, our dear online audience. So our first guest is Eduardas Kauklis, head of data and analytics units at EPAM. So Eduardas, if you would introduce yourself to our online audience.
Hello. Thanks for having me here. I'm Eduardas, already 15 years in the data area. Started in telecommunications, also a couple years in debt collection, and my career started with data analyst, just like extracting the data and working with it hands-on. Then career shifted a little bit more to the people management role. Yeah, that's my path.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
So our second guest is Artem Voivoda, co-head of data quality engineering at EPAM. So hello, Artem.
Yeah, hello once again. So as you might guess, my name is Artem, and my experience a little bit more than 3 years, all in EPAM. I'm just started working here just after the university. My main focus area is data quality. Maybe the most important part here is that I joined through the data laboratory to the EPAM. And yeah, I started as technical specialist, but now I'm combining management role to a little bit and going to grow in data, I think. So I think that's all from my side for now.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a pleasure to be with you all here today. And I'm sure our online audience is already eager to delve into the discipline and to learn more about data and analytics, and let's jump start. And by the way, in the video stream description, there will appear, or maybe already appeared, valuable links to our social media, to the training.epam.com, where you can already start searching for the proper training that fits your career, fits your expectations. So feel free to explore it, and let's jump start. So let's focus on the data and analytics and try to explain what it actually is as a discipline to our audience. So how businesses use it, what value it brings. So if you could guide us through that.
Yeah, so shortly I would say data analytics is kind of transformation from operational, from technical data into the business valuable information, business valuable insights. And that's like a most interesting part, especially for me, how to transform that into the story and how we can share and bring company into data-driven company in order to make conclusions data-driven and like not following just a sense. And it's like also, well, if you are a data analyst, you most probably will be very demanded and very good friend of commerce company, team company part, as like it's always expectation for data analysts that you will come up with the insights and you will bring something out of the data, how data are connected and what kind of story you can bring and tell about the clients, about relations and so on.
Yeah, I wonder if you could give some examples from the real world, what is data and like how it affects business decisions.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think like mostly it's internal data. Usually it's internal data, but company has about their clients, about their usage, about their behaviors. So it's also like clustering, aggregating the data and making insights, and also giving insights about clients that company could better understand their clients and offer better solutions and come up with better competitive advantage comparing other companies. And this is also like usually very important role in companies. That's why like data analysts are very, very valuable.
Yeah, would you like to add something on top of that?
Yeah, maybe I'd like to add some things not from technical perspective, but about data in general. So when we're talking about the data, it's like everywhere, because while people are watching our stream, it's again data. When you're purchasing something in store with bank transaction, it's data, and your phone it generates like lots of data. And the second important part that it's profitable, because if we will take a look at like Forbes most popular companies, it's all 5 data companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon, and one other company, forgot it actually. And while you're working with data, it's lots of working opportunities. It's like, we'll discuss it a little bit later today, but it's just an incredible variety of options. And data is growing really fast because like 10 years ago, all the world data was consuming around like 1 zettabyte of data. And currently it's like 40 zettabytes. So it's like x40. So, and it's growing. And 1 zettabyte, it's like 1.21 zeros. So it's quite a lot and hard to imagine. So yeah, it's quite a perspective and fastly growing area.
Right, but we still need specialists, humans, to work with this data, right? So it's not yet like fully covered by AI, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's not covered by AI at all.
But it helps.
Yeah. But firstly, it needs to be developed.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have like a standard solution, how to transform it. Still, it's like all the time we need some kind of human brains and how to understand how to relate the data from one source to another and how they reflect each other. So
like those librarians back in the days, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so before we delve into your personal stories, how you became, I wanted to remind to our online audience that you're free to leave your comments, to ask questions, which we will cover in the Q&A section of our show today. And yeah, feel free to drop questions and suggestions so that we get feedback from you as well, and we'll be able to answer the most prominent questions in the later part of the conversation. So, so moving onwards, like how did you realize that the data analytics is your career choice for now or like for years? So how you made this decision, how you understood that that's your discipline?
Well, in my case, it started very early. I would say, I guess in school already I admired people who were like appearing on the news or on somewhere else, and they are kind of commenting events, relations, and worldwide activities, how they impact economics and how they will impact and how they will forecast the whole macro numbers and development. So that was like for me trigger that this is like something interesting and I would like to be part of that. So I started to go into that area deeper, and as a data analyst, like the very first days, I understood that like nobody will bring you data, so you need to figure out, you need to understand how to manage the data, how to extract the data, how to convert it from raw data into some meaningful information. So here we need to have some tools. Here we need to have some knowledge, experience, and also models, how to summarize, how to aggregate the data. So that was the way how I digged into data engineering, and yeah, I'm still enjoying.
And what were like actual steps? Like, was it like a high school education? Was it like some trainings? So what was your path towards it?
Yeah, I've studied economics, but it was some studies about data, but I wouldn't say that it reflected very purely and very directly to that. I think my main experience, and I grew as a data analyst, usually like mostly at work. So just having tools, having databases. And when business are coming and asking some questions, you need to find answers. And so yeah, that's like querying the data and trying to figure out, Googling some devices, best practices, and yeah, so it's like more learning by doing.
Yeah, learning by doing, exactly. So Artem, what was your story? Why did you choose this pretty complicated and pretty complex discipline?
Well, in my situation, it's like combination of my preferences and opportunities, and all that I could say is that, yeah, I love the data, but in the university it was lack of some studies, only like very light SQL, which is language to work with data. And what I could add here, so it's quite interesting because with data you could create a lot of things in a really short time period. For example, you could just put all the money that you spent into your phone and get the analytics, like which is I'm doing every day. It's painful sometimes, but you're actually understanding the same with like business on higher scale, same with everything which is connected to data. If we're talking about my personal experience, yeah, after graduation from university, definitely I was like searching for something, and it was like this data training. It's quite relevant for my preferences, and yeah, I applied for it. So basically I'm here and like this.
Yeah, and what drives you? What motivates you in data analytics?
Working, not like only working with data, but it's plenty of working options, because while you're working with data, you're not really limited to some kind of tool, to some kind of technology. And data, generally, it stays the same. So it could be stored in some kind of cloud, in some kind of big data system, in Flash or your PC, phone, not noted, sorry. And you could work with this with really different variety of tools. And it's really interesting for you as a specialist, because you are not sitting all the time and just doing boring stuff. And the second part here is that it's never the situation when you will have a direct answer to your question. Because training is quite, not like training, working with data is quite interesting because you need to always find some kind of answer. It's not like 2 + 2 = 4. It's like 2 + something equals to something, and not like it's equals. It's always some request from business, always some request from team, what we could improve, how we could improve. And data is coming from lots of sources. It's unpredictable data. It's business not knowing this data all the time. So it's really complicated, but at the same time, interesting tasks each working day. So like this.
Yeah, sounds exciting. So yeah, you mentioned that you're free to choose technologies. For sure, like there might be some recommendations or some guidelines from the clients with whose data we are working on. But let's try to delve into the data analytics technologies that are used, because that obviously impacts the different career avenues, whom you can become, because like there are different domains, different subdisciplines in data analytics. I really would like to ask you to help our online audience to properly navigate in this domain. So if you could provide more insights, technologies and related career avenues in that regard.
Yeah, I think I could start with it. Our current session is related to data analytics, but I would like to remember that through training.epam.com. It's not only data analytics. For example, we have two more options. It's like data science for guys who are really good in high math and interested in developing some models and so on. Also, we have data engineer with big data, but it's required quite high level of Java and Python. But talking about data and analytics, again, it's plenty of working options and it's really huge list. But talking about like which specialty you can gain, it's data quality, which I will start with. And data quality is basically inclusion of data integration, data visualization, and everything. Because when we are talking about data quality, it's the whole quality of some project, of some data projects, definitely. And it's not only related that this piece of data should be like transformed like this, like multiplied by 10 or division by something. It's also a question of what business must gain from this, understand this data, work with data. And at the same time, it's sometimes really hard working like tasks, hard skill tasks, I mean, like technical ones. But again, it's combined with some soft skill ones. You need to communicate with customer, you need to understand it. Some guy work like business analyst, so it's really complicated, but really interesting. Yeah, and talking about data integration, data visualization, I think the others will share more details about this.
Yeah, sure. So data integrations, I guess, is also a very important part where we creating pipelines, creating ways how we connecting the data and transforming it into quick and easy way to consume for the end users, for the data analysts, because you need to imagine that we have like hundreds of millions or even billions of data. So you need to structure the data. You need to create indexes or kind of easy ways how to query the data in order to run it easy and quickly, because otherwise you can stuck and whole day and just wait for the answers or for like one query. And so yeah, this is like the whole philosophy, creating that structure, fundamentals. And we have a lot of different approaches, like all the star schemas and how to structure the data. And also we have fancy tools which we are using for that, like, I don't know, Informatica, or I know now it's kind of trendy way to put the data into the cloud. So yeah, also quite popular. I don't know, we in EPAM we have quite a lot experience working with Azure cloud data and also AWS cloud data. So yeah, I think those parts are covering mostly about data integration, how to put the data from sources into structured data warehouse and to prepare for consumption. And the next part is visualization, which is kind of preparation the data for the usage for the non-technical people, that they could consume the data, make conclusions, reflect, create reports, and understand their clients' behaviors, trends, and how they are moving up and downs, and make decisions on the spot, and not to lose any valuable information. And for that, yeah, we are using also in the EPAM, I think, most popular tools like Tableau or I don't know, Power BI, click tools, or whenever you name it.
Yeah, and do you have like your preferred or most interesting or like some set of technologies, set of tools that you use in your work?
Well, I think I mostly worked with Click for data visualizations, but it's like already not very popular. I think Power BI is very useful and very easy to understand, and you don't need to have much experience. It's quite easy to navigate and just find right options, and you have insights for you.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, looks like indeed a wide array of opportunities, wide array of career paths that you can follow, that you can switch between, or like while searching for your ideal work competencies and expertise scenarios.
Yeah, and I think we had not one example, one person started like at the beginning was focusing on, I don't know, let's say on data integration because someone told that this is fancy and this is very, very nice, but after touching a couple tools, understood that, well, this is not for him. And I think like big companies, this is like advantage that you can choose and jump from one chair to another. That's nice.
That sounds exciting. So from what we are getting about like the audience that watches us right now, pretty big parts of the audience is actually either starting their career or considering some shifts in their career, considering the data analytics to skyrockets this career path. So how would you describe whom it actually fits? So what kind of soft skills? I know that Artem has already mentioned some, but it's good to sum it up, as well as to couple that with additional, like to integrate this data with hard skills data. Do you really need to code, or you need like some different backgrounds? Is like specifically engineering based or not? Because like I have an interesting example when my previous teammate, she was from copywriting, but she decided to switch to data analytics. So for me, that's pretty much of a pivot. So how would you describe like a profile of a candidate that for whom it would work and for whom it would fit?
Yeah, I would say that for the starting point, it's very important to have English skills, at least, I don't know, companies are about B2 or higher, because usually, I don't know, if you can start anywhere your data career, but well, all the materials, all the tips, everything is in English. So I think you would struggle a lot not having that. And well, I think useful would be to have at least some understanding what is SQL programming, what is about. I mean, how to work with the data sets. I mean, it's not required, not needed to be an expert and specialist in that, but at least some understanding how to write select, how to write some kind of where clause or something like that. That would be simplify your way, but definitely I would say it's not needed to be IT professional. And I think in my previous companies we even haven't had any person who would graduate IT. I mean, we are kind of calling ourselves like that. For us, IT and data is like more like a hobby, and well, with some kind of skills which we got learning and working with data.
Yeah. So, Artem, I know that you might have some additional story, from your perspective, whom it fits. So, would you navigate us around
That's
that?
why I'm here. Actually, before I go with my story, I would like to add a few things, because I participated in, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 rounds of data and analytics training, and it's actually lots of different people there. It's from 18 age till, I don't know, 40, 45. Maybe this one thing that I would like to highlight, that it's a lot of like people, employees who previously worked with some kind of data financial analyst, some bank specialist, and so on. Because, yeah, they like, quickly get the general idea, they understand about what the training is, and it is okay for them. I can say that you need some specific background because, again, SQL, general database management system concepts, it's not like you spend one evening and understand everything, but it's definitely could be done within some few evenings, and 2, 3, 4 weeks, you will understand is it interesting for you or no. Talking about my experience, yeah, as I mentioned, when I was applying to like EPAM trainings, it was functional testing training, it was data analytics training, and DevOps training. And functional testing is not for me, DevOps is not for me, data analytics is here, and yeah. What I would like to highlight here is that it was very interesting 3+ years, and it's continued to be each day, because I think I started the training in the beginning of 2009, and yeah, it was a little bit complicated sometimes, but again, the more time you spend, the more it's getting interesting for you and so on, and yeah, you're getting the results. And I joined EPAM in the summer of 2019, and yeah, I quite enjoyed my first project with pretty hard, deep automation, where I didn't have experience with .NET before, but the project is, you know programming, here is some classes, you understand it, go on. It wasn't really super complicated, but it was interesting because you're working with something new and so on and so on. And on this project, I think it was about a year. After this project just ended, I switched to the next one with Databricks, which I'm going to show you a little bit later today. And there was like Python, Scala, SQL, a little bit of R, and very interesting team. We have really huge amounts of data, and in this project I get experience as a team lead of 4 people. It was really interesting from the beginning because it was like 2 people with me, so it's only 1 people. Then it's 3, and it's 4, and now it's 5 actually, but yeah, we did a rotation. And yeah, currently I'm working on just simple reinsurance project, and I'm like one data quality engineer here, and it's basically all the tasks that could be divided data quality. Yeah, and again, EPAM, it's not like about the projects because it's again like laboratory. That's why we're here. It's some kind of mentoring, it's some external activities. So yeah, it's lots of interesting stuff, I think.
Yeah, how do you manage to combine it all? Like with the client project-related work plus team development plus trainings, it must be like pretty complicated, isn't it?
Well, I usually ask this question, and it's actually true that when we're talking about data laboratory, when we're talking about mentoring and some kind of trainings, it's like hobby. And it actually is, because it's great when you are like teaching something to someone and this person understands this. And at this point, you understand this better too, because you're like refreshing something and so on and so on. And from my point of view, it's really positive when person like coming to you and saying that I don't have any idea what this data mapping is. Here is document, it's not done at all, and I don't understand. And you are spending like iteration after iteration and iteration, and this person like, aha, so how it should work and so on. So I don't know, this motivates me a lot.
Yeah, nice, nice. What a story. Right, so I'm actually fond of learning more about the opportunities that we have in the company, both for like how different departments work, how different specialties work, because like coming from management, sometimes for me engineering might look like a black box, but today we have a very cool opportunity to actually discuss what it means to be a data analytics engineer. And if you could briefly guide us about like what your typical day looks like. And after that, our dear online audience, we will delve into a fancy demo that I know that you brought. But before that, let's discuss how your typical day looks like.
Okay, will you start?
Yeah, so I think like data analysis is always about like puzzles to solve them. That means like you got some question and you need to find the answer, and it's like there will be no usually there is no kind of already prepared way how to find it. So that means you need to meet a lot of people. You need to gather all the background information. I mean, how it's what is the business expectation, how it works usually, what is expected, and to go into the data and to check this this theory, this kind of
Right. But how you like actual day? So you start like at 9 or 10, like whatever, and then what is like full of meetings? Is it full of working with databases? So how it actually looks?
Well, now I guess it's like more about the data, about the data people. I mean, like one of the roles activities is leading people. So like I'm helping them more like to choose their career and to check what skills they have, what skills they need, some kind of performance evaluation. So it's like a little bit less related to the data itself directly.
Yeah. But I think that our audience is more looking into like actual hands-on experience, like what they will be doing. Like.
Yeah, so I guess there are, I would say, a couple of items. So one of them is like usually we have some kind of regular or standard reports. So usually you go to there to check if there are some kind of crashes, if everything went smoothly or not. If yes, then you're fixing and coping with them. And then usually you get some questions by business, and then you go into the data and start to querying and start to find those answers there.
Yeah, but like with whom are you, like, I mean, the data analytics engineers normally working on? Are they working with with business people or with other engineers? So how it normally looks like? I know it might be like very much different project.
Yeah, it might be very different, but usually I expect that it will be business people, because you need to get business perspective and their expectations. So that means that you could go and understand what is the problem, what they are trying to achieve. So yeah, I think they are kind of primer contact. And I guess the second part is technical people, because you are in the middle between business and technical guys. So if you don't have enough data, so you need to go to the technical people and say, yeah, I would like to dig more into, I don't know, client, for example, satisfaction. Mm-hmm. I don't have data in my data warehouse. Could you load it into my data warehouse? Or I don't have enough fields and enough information about that. Could you load it? Or something like be in the middle between technical person and business.
Yeah, right. Artem, would you like to add something on top of that?
Not like add, because we're quite from a little bit different departments related from data. But talking about data quality, okay, from working day we're excluding like 2 hours. For example, sometimes it's more, but usually sometimes it's really useful meetings where you get clarification from business, your clarification with some people. Sometimes it's just meeting for meeting when no one knows the answer, but still you are discussing something. And in the remaining like 5-6 hours, well, it's plenty of tasks. Yeah, it's a lot of communications, not like through meetings, just with direct calls, with writing messages, and talking about with whom we're communicating. Basically with anyone. It's like DevOps guys, it's business guys, it's data integration, data visualization, like maybe a little bit tricky moment in data quality, it's communication, because we refine some solution, we're checking this, and it's not good thing when you found out some bugs that something is working incorrectly and you're doing this wrong, you're a bad developer. It's never should work this way. It's like must work that I found an issue, I found how we can fix it, could we please discuss it? So it's really good, healthy relationships. Talking about from technical perspective, usually it's some kind of backend database. So it's how data is loaded. Is it loaded correctly? Create some ETL by yourself for verification purposes. Sometimes you're just working close with developer and helping him, or he is helping you, because someone could know some business domain better than you, and the opposite. More rarely, it's some working with reports and dashboards. You are just verifying from general perspective, is it looking good? You are verifying the measures, numbers, is it okay, and so on. So backend, front-end, and all the simplest stuff like API, how the components of the system are communicating between each other. So I think that's all.
Yeah, looks like you really need to have a lot of communication that to enable your work and so that you could focus on your core competency, right? So I know that you did not come with bare hands, and you brought us some compelling demo so that our online audience can not only explore what actually happens on the stream, not only check the training.epam.com or leave comments to our speakers, but also can now focus on the demo so that you could show how it actually looks like.
Yeah, thanks. And I think my screen should be visible. Yeah. So the demo will be partially presentation, partially some kind of demo, and our agenda is pretty simple. So one more time, we will discuss what is actually data warehouse and ETL in simple words, like provide some examples of source data with what we are working, what is being loaded in the data warehouse, demo with Databricks, and again, reports examples, as Eduardo mentioned, like for what we're actually doing all this stuff. So let's begin. And yeah, we have first schema. What is actually ETL process? As you can see, it's extract, transform, and load. And in simple words, we have some kind of source system. It's usually customer system where some kind of sales, some kind of business information, and it is loaded into destination. Definitely, it's not like loaded one-to-one. We need to remove some duplicates, remove some unnecessary data. We need to transform it with some business rules, but generally it's just moving from one place into another. And talking about extract and load, it's pretty simple because it's just extraction and loading, but the most interesting part is happening in the middle. It is actual transformation. And it's incredibly huge list of things which could be happening there. So it's, again, some transformation to business needs, aggregation, deduplication, so lots of stuff. This schema in more details, like what is actual data warehouse? When we're talking about data warehouse, it could be like the whole system for operating with data, and at the same time, data warehouse could be named as our centralized storage where we have really good data, like cleaned without unnecessary data, and which we could use for business. So on the left, you could see that it's source 1 and source 2, but it could be only one source. It could be like 200 sources, doesn't matter here actually. And in our case, data from the sources are being loaded through, again, ETL, extract, transform, load process into our data warehouse. And in data warehouse, we are storing all the necessary information. We could imagine it as like each day you are purchasing something in the store by card, or like sometimes you could do it like 15, 20 times a day. And all this, every transaction will be saved in the data warehouse, like who performs this transaction, when he performs this, and all this stuff. But we can't use these transactions directly for building like really good reports, because it's a lot of information, and if you will like compute everything, it will require a lot of time, because like 15 transactions per day, it's several hundreds per month, it's thousands per year, and it's lots for, I don't know, big city and so on. So basically, we're aggregating data in the data mart, and in the data mart, business user could just came and we are actually building visualization for them, but they are requesting what kind of data and how it should be requested there. So jump into the next slide, because it's not only like Power BI, Tableau, Click, as Eduardo mentioned, it's low. It's definitely not all the technical stack and stuff that we are working with, and definitely it is not expected that you will know everything, just to show you how much of data tools is presented in the world. And actually, I found one more picture with like 10 times more, and it's true, but not the best fit for this presentation, and you wouldn't see all the logos. Okay, just a few more words about the data warehouse. Definitely, it's not like you're seeing this and the data is loaded. It's a little bit more complicated. So in the details, in the tables, it's like we have something in source. We are like transform this data as requested in the data warehouse, and in the result, we have one data mart table. So jump into the source data example, like what kind of data is actually sometimes expected to be in the sources. We will discuss it on the example of used cars sales, and our data set will be pretty simple, just Excel or CSV file. It's about 10,000 rows, but just to get the understanding. As you can see, it's lots of columns like year, manufacturer, model, like in what condition car is, and when it was sale, and which price, so lots of data. But as you might imagine, it's not like you're just getting data from customer from any one place, and you're just directly working with it. Sometimes some data just could be missed. And what we should do with these transactions, like get the data from somewhere or just remove them. Sometimes data could be duplicated. As you can see here, BMW X6 was sold like 25 times, and it's definitely couldn't be for one car in one time period. Also, sometimes that columns could be shifted, so in here, year couldn't be white, or on odometer we couldn't have like WIN code with a lot of letters and so on. And the last example here is that sometimes data could be presented in different data formats. So it's not like, yeah, we could understand that W and white or gray HG is the same thing, but again, it's lots of these cases, and this data needs to be unified somehow, transformed. And this could sometimes lead to really deep misunderstanding that we have Sphinx and Sphinx. And on the left, it's a really big stone. On the right, it's just cat. But it could be really look like the same thing, especially if you don't know this difference in I and Y. So that was all from the presentation part, and as promised, I'm going to show you a little bit of Databricks. Just to save our time, I already uploaded this CSV file, which was shown before, into the Databricks, and how we could actually work with it. So it's just loaded as a file without any transformations, without anything. It's just a file on the disk. We could create a table based on this, like we can do this with SQL, we could do it with Python. And with SQL, we need to manually specify each column, like year, make, model, trim, body, and so on and so on. And more for each column, we need to specify, is it like string column, or is it like integer, which means number column. So it could be really require a lot of times on huge tables. Yeah, and as you can see, we are using CSV. We are specifying the path. We are saying that header is true. It's meaning that the top row is just year, make, model, so description of columns, and that is the cells is being delimited by comma. Actually, we can do the same with Python. And why I actually love Databricks very much, in the one page, in different cells, you can use SQL, you can use Python, also you could use Scala, and you can use R language. And it's just you are like writing percentage and changing language. With Python, it's basically the same. There may be one difference that you are not specifying the columns as here, and because of Python technical limitations, it's firstly creating like temporary table data frame, which is like in the operational memory and will be removed after some time. So we need one additional command, and to create this table and a permanent table name, which is in our case is variable and named is cars Python. So what is the idea here? That basically we created a table with two different languages, but we can execute quick check on SQL table. It's like select star. And yeah, as you can see, it's like took exactly 1 second, and we can view this table on like cars SQL. We can do the same on cars Python, and from the okay, give it a few seconds. Yeah, it's take 4 seconds, but it's actually looking the same. But we can say for sure because it's lots of rows and so on and so on. Okay, let's compare amount of rows between these tables. So with select count star, we can check how much rows in each table. And as you can see here as a result, or we can do this one just to show you that it's actually working. In SQL table and Python table, we have the same amount of rows. Okay, but it's only amount, and it could be broken data, but with different values and so on. We could do this with on specific win code or ID, which is win is basically ID of some car, and it's unique all over the world. So, and we could compare like each column and see that everything is working correctly, so it's the same result. So we created the tables, but for what? We could create visualization on it and get some really useful extracts. So we could just see how much cars were sent by each brand. And as we can see here, the most popular car is actually Ford in our used car store. So maybe we could consider buying more of them. Also, we could show the same stuff with a little bit different visualization. Because in Databricks, you could just click visualization, and oops, yeah, like the edit visualization and choose anything you want, like pie chart, bar chart, and all this stuff. Also, we can see that what is condition of our sold cars, because it's quite important, and customer is expecting to have really good, reliable car for us. And this condition is shown is with values from 1 till 5. And what we can see here is that we have 570 cars with rating 1.9, and it's definitely not good. So what we can do with this? We could see what these cars with these conditions exactly. And we are just adding in the next command, where condition equals to this value, grouping by year, grouping by manufacturer. And we can see that we have lots of Chevrolet from 2011, a lot of Fords, a lot of Hondas from this year. And do we even need to buy these cars in future for resale or buy this via some kind of trade-in? Because definitely our customers won't be satisfied with such quality of cars. Yeah, Databricks is good in simple visualization, but we also have some different tools. And I'm going to show you Power BI. So as you can see on one screen, you can have lots of information. So what is the total sales about the region? What is our, on the right, year-over-year growth compared with previous year? What is our average rating? As we can see, it's not quite good. By gender, if you are not satisfied just with viewing by months, you could do it by quarter, by year. You could select different year. Okay, sorry, I slowed it. You could select different year, and example here, we can see that growth is 2%, but in the next year, it's actually not growing. So something was wrong, and we could investigate it by months and so on. And before I finish, it also could look like this. It also could look like this. So you could view sales, you could view profit, you could view product based on some kind of, based on some kind of map, based on some kind of table, visuals. So anything that you want or anything that customer is need. And my last sentence is going to be that it could be done with any kind of data that have business insights. So I think that's all from my side with demo.
Yeah, looks very exciting, and looks like a piece of cake, isn't it? What do you think, our online audience? Is it a piece of cake, or is it not? Leave your comments, leave your questions, because soon we will be heading to Q&A session where we'll be highlighting most interesting and valuable questions. So thank you for the demo. And I know that you gentlemen might have, based on your decent experience, some myths or dispels that our audience might have heard about data analytics, the opportunities, so some misjudgments maybe. So what might be like a couple of those that you've heard, so that we can myth bust them?
Yeah, so I guess one of them and most common one is like also looking into the charts and data what Tom just showed, which looks like very complicated, very hard to do it, but it definitely is not. I mean, we are not in 90s already, so we have tools, we have a lot of information, and all those tools are most quite advanced. So you have some kind of autocorrects, tips, templates, which guide you, and you could easily go into the insights and create your own dashboard pretty easy. And usually also people are quite scary. I mean, still data analytics is a little bit technical position, right? And they kind of fear, can I manage that? Is it easy? But it's not so technical how it can look at the first glance. So basically, yeah, of course you need to know, get some sense of technical understanding, but it's also kind of design also takes to. Tom showed a couple of charts, so you need to understand also people preferences, how they look, what they feel, how they understand information. How to put the chart. Should it be on the top? Should it be on the bottom? Should it be like what kind of colors you should match? And what kind of colors your company presents, and how to match that and everything in one, and to make it visible, and that just opening the dashboard in first 3 seconds you could catch main information, main message, and instead of digging in the whole lines and trying to find your answer. So it's also the whole philosophy how to do that.
Yeah, it sounds pretty creative.
Yeah, it is.
What might be like any kind of misjudgments that you've heard, Artem?
Well, the most important one is actually mentioned. But talking about, I quite a lot of times involved in this data laboratory. Because honestly, what we are presenting and what students are going to learn, it's the same. It's like Python, data warehouse, and all this stuff. So it's not like situation when you're coming and you're learning completely different things. Yeah, you could learn things that you could think that it's not very important to you. For example, you would like to work as a Power BI developer, but you still need to learn some kind of SQL, how is database is being built, and so on. And it could be why do you actually need this? But in the real world, data visualization guys is still write this SQL. They join two tables, they extracting some data, maybe on a little bit lower level, not like some complex procedures when we're talking about developers, but definitely yes. Apart from this, maybe that it will be really complex. I agree. I would like to maybe add a few points here, because training could require some time. Yeah, in the first stage, it's like, I don't know, around usually 2-3 hours, and per week it's like 50-20. On the second stage, it's a little bit more, so it's 6 hours per day, but it's like lower level. And if you are like not just doing job for job, if you are like really interested in this, you will spend more time, because you are seeing this, yeah, I completed this task, like my Python cycle is working and data is being loaded in the data warehouse, okay, but you can see, I can improve the performance, I can use something different. And the more time you're like spending for yourself, the more beneficial it's getting for you. And maybe it's not actually so much about SQL, Python, and data. It's that it must be interesting for you in the first place. Because if it's not interesting for you, every learning, like, I don't know, piano or studying some new language, it's you're just doing something, but you don't know why you're actually doing this. And in this case, if you are just enjoying working with data, and as we already mentioned, it's lots of things why it could be interesting, I don't think that it will be any problems. Maybe I will finish on like not practical, but facts that I asked some guys from data laboratory and so on. And honestly, it's the things that Armandus and I mentioned. Apart from this, all good.
Yeah. Well, looks like I'm almost sold into to also pivot to data and analytics, same as our audience, I believe. So I wonder if you could shed more light into like where to actually start, like what to read, what to watch, what trainings to take part in. Probably some of those are like a training.epam.com or like something else from your expertise that might be helpful. So if you could navigate the online audience to where to start.
Okay, yeah, the first thing I'd like to say is that after this event, not meeting, sorry, yeah, it is going to be shared at least with these self-study materials, but the must thing is definitely SQL, because you could choose any other, not like any other, you could choose any database like SQL, like NoSQL, like big data, cloud, and so on. It's always will be SQL, because it's starting with this, it's structured query language, and it's related to data as much as possible. And yeah, I would like to really take a look at example where some people, students will work with data without using SQL. Yeah, start from simple things like select and so on, maybe some joins, maybe it's not a lot of stuff in SQL actually. So it's like select, from, where, group by, having, order by, and so on. And it's will be already more than enough to understand is it yours or not yours. And yeah, when you will be learning SQL, it's some database moments. So how the database is built, what is actual normalization, how the tables should be connected between each other. So lots of stuff, but it's like going common with SQL. So pure SQL is not enough. Still, some understanding how the database should be built is definitely needed. Talking about some other things, soft skills, it's more for you. You could be a really good specialist, but again, data projects, it's almost all the times are like medium or huge projects with lots of people being involved. And it's not like I'm saying that all of your time is communication. It's, I don't know, about 20, 30% dependent from project, but how you are using this time for communication, not just give me something like, or understand what is people want and so on. Going apart from SQL and databases, it's definitely Python. Python or any other programming languages. Yeah, Python is more easy to start, more easy to understand. But again, if it's like .NET, if it's Java, if you understand programming in general, it will be easy to you to like switch to Python or anything else. We're mostly focused on Python because it's easy to learn, it's very popular, it has a lot of data libraries and so on. But if you knew any other languages, it will be pretty as easy for you to study Python and so on. Yeah. So yeah, and apart from this, I think SQL, Python, or any other programming languages, database management system, and others, maybe I missed something.
Yeah, maybe willingness. I think that's most important. If you be curious, because yes, as you mentioned, also I think in our team we had a meet, like most probably you will spend like 80% of time communicating, trying to investigate the problem, trying to get the background, and most probably some 20% you've only, be hard coding because, you're kind of part of business and you need to understand the business. So that's quite important. And yeah,
but maybe you could recommend some, I don't know, books, some articles, some YouTube channels or trainings that like actually like are upcoming, or something that you might recommend.
To enroll into training or in general?
Huh?
I mean, if you would like to enroll into training, then yeah, it's again, this list is attached and I prepared these links a few days ago. But with SQL, usually it goes really well with some kind of practical task. So SQL X or We3 schools, or don't write this down, it's already attached somewhere. And I guess it's all visible to our audience. So I don't know, Guru 99 or Jig 99, it's lots of sites. It's about the SQL, it's pretty simple. About the Python, again, it's pretty simple because when you are just starting and enrolling, it's lots of information. About the database, really encourage to start with first, second, and third normal form to understand how the data is connected with each other. And talking about books, it's Kimball book. It's pretty easy to find, it's accessible, and to understand how the data is working, what is data warehouse that we mentioned, what is data mart that we mentioned. So it's pretty well described here. So, but again, links are attached and better to use them, not just browsers.
Our dear online audience, check out the links in the description to search for the proper training and for the literature materials. And then starts to skyrocket your data analyst career. We receiving signals that we have quite a few questions from the audience. And one of those is what kind of data jobs will be suitable after completing data analytics engineering training?
Well, data quality, data integration, and data visualization. But talking about domains like data quality is from EPAM side is more on the current moment. So yeah, like this.
All right.
And I think it will depend what suits for you the best. I mean, of course, it's also first the choice of the person of who choose the training, because we as a big company, we have a variety of projects and opportunities. So, well, I think the most important that person would feel comfortable in that position and touching on those tools and areas, he can then say that this is for me.
Yeah. Something sparks. Then we have another question to our speakers is how can we develop our analytical skills? And also another question, what kind of soft skills do we need to develop? But I think soft skills have been pretty much covered already, right? So just how to become more analytical, I think that's kind of the question.
Well, I think you can start from yourself. I mean, take your information, what you are using. I mean, what you are purchasing, what kind of behaviors you have. Take some kind of data. We have a lot of tryouts. You can go and to use a lot of tools and try to draw some kind of chart. Try to load your data into the cloud. And every big provider of data integration has that possibilities, to promote their tools. So please try and figure out if that suits for you, if you think that's interesting, and that's I think the part. Or I think there are a lot of trainings, and just need to Google and download some data set and play with them.
Yeah, noted, understood. We're also getting signals about the round of applause for the demo that you made. So thank you so much from the audience. Another question is, what if I start as data analytics engineer, but in the future would like to continue the career path as a data scientist? Is it possible at EPAM?
Yeah,
absolutely.
But again, it's dependent from the person, because when we're talking about data quality, data integration, data visualization, it's quite common professions. But when we're talking about data science, it's require pretty high level of high math and so on. And okay, if we see that person is really will be better on some other kind of job, or not job like title and so on, then definitely it's not an issue. But again, before we start working with this question, this person like must comply with these requirements and so on, because definitely you are not like driving a car or taxi and going to like Formula One and saying like, Hamilton, sorry, goodbye, I would like to drive this car. So yeah, it's possible, but if you will like study this, if you will learn this, and you will be like complete with these requirements.
Yeah, I see. All right, so I think we are pretty much done with the most of the questions, and we have just like a few minutes left for you to give a final advice to the audience, some final recommendations. So what you would wish our viewers in their upcoming career?
Yeah, I would wish you to be curious, to start your career, to move into data, and try yourself, challenge yourself, because it's really interesting. And hopefully, we gave some advices, we gave some sneak how it looks, what is this data analytics, and what is behind that. And yeah, hopefully, after the session, you will try something, and most probably maybe we'll see you somewhere around.
Yeah, thank you. So what would you recommend, Artem?
Yeah, from my side, I would refer to like some kind of Nike advertisement. So just do it, just try it. And it's not like we are biting into you if you will come to a technical interview and so on, and it will be some romantic questions that sorry, no, never, and so on and so on. We have pretty few examples when people came to the laboratory and they have some gaps and so on. We just focus on them and they are applying for the next run. And it's totally okay. It's again, we are trying to provide feedback, so if everything is good. It's definitely not saying that you're just coming in without any knowledge and so on. We're saying, yes, you're welcome and so on. But at the same time, it shouldn't be like scary for you, it shouldn't be stressful for you and so on, because we're pretty good to understand all this paths, all these parts, because a lot of mentors which are involved in data and analytics laboratory are actually mentoring, and they finished this laboratory before, so it's quite good level of empathy, emotions, and yeah, it's up to you. So yeah, and one final advice, please be very careful with what kind of data is you're working and so on. Firstly, like just don't spend too much time on like Instagram, Facebook, and so on, maybe, because it's again a data, but data just for data.
Yeah,
Right.
And I think in EPAM we have very good opportunity for our audience, because like most of our mentors are practitioners, so they are working with the data day and date, and it's like you all the time you use fancy tools which we are using for the projects, and it's also like not so scary how it could look from the first glance.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for coming today to the studio to share your expertise. And I'd like to thank our online audience for staying with us, for your questions, for your attention. And thank you, and stay tuned for the next upcoming Skyrocket Your Career shows. And feel free to go to training.epam.com and find the suitable free training that EPAM provides. Yeah, let's stay in touch. You should stay tuned for more updates, for more news, and have a great week. Thank you so much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a nice day.